Hey everybody, my name is Josh Hill and I've been a wedding photographer and videographer in the North Georgia area for the past 3 years, and I'm going to be helping you as you get your creative business started. Today, we're going to be talking about wedding inquiries and how to respond to wedding inquiries. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be sharing the top 5 tips I wish I knew when I started to help me when brides reached out asking if I could shoot their wedding. So the first tip is to keep your email sounding like you. You don't want to sound like a different person, because then when you get on a phone call or you meet in person, they're going to see, oh, this doesn't sound like the person I've been emailing with. So you want to keep the email in your tone of voice. You of course want to make a good impression. You don't want to be super nonchalant about everything. You want to treat this as like an important day, because that's what it is. It's someone's wedding. So you want to come across professional, but you also want to keep your personality and blend that into your email. So if you are super bubbly, which I'm not, you're going to make your email sound super bubbly, and that probably comes naturally to you. But for some people, it doesn't. And if it doesn't come naturally to you, don't try to become someone that you're not just to try and book a wedding, because in the long run, it's not going to be helpful. It's going to be more hurtful. Tips 2 through 4 are going to be things that you include in the email. And at the end of this video, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my example email of what I send to wedding inquiries now. So one of the things you're going to want to include in your email is an implied sense of scarcity. And why this is helpful is that it keeps the wedding inquiry moving along and doesn't allow it to kind of just drag on forever and ever. It kind of shows that, hey, I'm booked, I'm busy, I'm going to, or I could potentially book this wedding day unless we go ahead and move this forward with someone else. So the way I like to do that is I like to say, hey, I'm available for your day, and you insert the day, but next October is filling up really quickly. So that way in their mind, it's like, oh, next October is filling up quickly. I need to go ahead and either book with Josh or book with someone, but I'm emailing Josh right now. So I need to go ahead and book, whether that be a call or whether that be just go ahead and book with Josh before even having a call, which happens sometimes. Another way to do this, and this is helpful if you have multiple inquiries for the same day, is to say, hey, I'm currently available for your wedding on October 14th, 2024, but I do have a couple other couples looking at that exact date. I can't hold the day for anybody without a retainer and a signed contract. So if you want to go ahead and move forward, or if you'd like to set up a call, we can do that here. And this way they don't kind of dilly-dally and oh, I'll get back to him whenever. It's kind of okay, he's available right now. He might not be in the next few days or in the next few months. So I need to go ahead and get on this. The second thing I like to include in my emails is a sense of expertise at their venue. Even if you haven't shot at their venue before, you can either look up pictures of the venue, or what I like to do, especially I did this a lot more when I was first starting, is I would reach out to the venues over Instagram or over email, trying to get to know them, and also to see if I could have a venue tour. That way I could kind of talk a little bit about the venue even if I haven't shot there, and potentially meet the owners. And if you have shot there, just relaying info that you've learned throughout shooting there, so that you're positioned as an authority in this wedding photography, videography, creative business space. The way I do that in my emails, I have one example from Corey Farms, because I shoot there all the time. I see that you're booked at Corey Farms, that's an awesome venue, you made a great choice. Before I shot there, I always would say, I know that Glennis and Scott are going to take great care of you, because I had met the owners before I booked my first wedding at that venue. So I would say, Corey Farms is a great venue. I know Glennis and Scott are going to take great care of you. And now that I have shot there, I can say it's a beautiful venue. It gets dressed up super well. I know that sometimes videographers have trouble with the ceremony space because there's not 2 places where you can put a bride and a groom angle, or a bride and a groom camera pointed towards the middle, but I have their ceremony space down to a system. It's the best way to capture that area, that space for your ceremony, something like that. So that's how you kind of use a sense of expertise to position yourself as an authority at that venue or for their wedding, so they feel that they can trust you to shoot their wedding day. Because at the end of the day, weddings only happen once, so you can only get that day captured one time, and if you don't trust the videographer or the photographer, they're not going to book you. The third thing that I like to include in my emails is a link to book a call in my calendar. And the reason that I like to have a link and I like to have it to where they can just put their name, their email, and a time is because it eliminates friction of having to try and schedule a call over email. Say you don't have a link in your email that goes to book a call, then you're gonna say,
hey, I'm free on Friday from 2 to 4. Can you do a call then?
And they're gonna say, no, I'm not free Friday 2 to 4. Are you free Saturday 3 to 6?
I'm actually at a wedding Saturday, so can you do Monday at 6?
No, I actually have something. And it just goes back and forth, and you never get to book a call. And while you're doing all that, causing all that friction, I send an email with a link and they book the call. We've already had our call and they've already booked me before y'all can book your Zoom call. So you get what I'm saying? Like, you need to just put a link. I have to re-record the last. You get what I'm saying? So you need to just go ahead and put a link in your email to your calendar, so that way they can schedule a call when it's convenient for them and not add all this friction of going back and forth. So the last tip, and probably the most important tip, is to respond to the inquiry as soon as you can. And I'll tell you why. When a bride or potentially a groom sends you an inquiry, it means that they are in like a wedding planning, like headspace, mindset, time frame. So you responding quickly is going to make you stand out from all the people who respond in one business day or within 24 hours. Like, if they're a working person, they're working 9 to 5, maybe they can do it during the day, but maybe it's not on their mind to do it during the day. They get home and they're wedding planning. So it's 6 p.m. All the other photographers who have like balance, they they have work hours and they're like, oh, I don't work past 5 p.m. So I got an inquiry, I'll respond to it tomorrow at 9. But this bride is in a wedding planning like headspace right now. So I'm going to respond and I'm going to send an email within like 24 minutes instead of 24 hours. And by the time you respond tomorrow at 9 a.m., I'll have already booked them, or at least we're booked into a call, and they're not really thinking to reach out to many other vendors or many other photographers or videographers. So that is probably the most important tip to stand out, because you're gonna be reaching the couple or reaching the bride when she's planning the wedding and not when she is at work at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning and then she forgets you even responded. So that's just my 2 cents. If you want to download my example email to an inquiry, you can do that in the first link down in the description. And let's quickly go over the 5 tips. The first tip is to keep your tone of voice. Don't try to sound like anybody else. Second tip is to have an implied sense of scarcity. Whether or not your calendar is full, someone's calendar is full, you can say next year's calendar is filling up quickly. Third tip is to have a sense of expertise for their wedding venue, whether that mean you go to tour different venues and meet different venue owners, or you've shot at that venue, or even if you just have to look up pictures of their venue online. Show that you put a little bit of effort into getting to know their venue, sharing what you think about it. Usually just say that it's a good choice and that the owner is going to take care of them, or that you have like a certain experience there, blah blah blah. Show a sense of expertise. And then 5 is to email as soon as you can, because usually when you get an inquiry, it's not that they just like whipped out their phone like, oh, let me send an inquiry and put my phone back up. It's that they're like wedding planning. They're trying to plan a wedding right now and get as much done as they can in the next hour, 2, 3, or maybe 4 of their busy lives. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. If these tips were useful for you, I would love if you left a like or subscribed, or both. And if you have anything that you want a video on specifically, go ahead and leave a comment down in the description. And don't forget to download the example email down in the description. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.